Hey there, it's Chris from Good Roads, and there is so much going on, and I am so busy, but I am so hyped. Here's what's up. I'm helping to organize the first mountain board tour we've had here in the United States in more than a decade. It says right here in the script, pause for emphasis because this is a big deal. There is a great group of homies behind this effort, and we're calling it the We the Riders Mountainboard America Tour. We've got 5 stops lined up for you across this great nation. We've got Colorado, we've got Pennsylvania, we've got New York, we've got Montana, and we've got Arizona. And you heard right, one of the stops is New York. We're doing it right here in my area, and oh my God, I have so much digging to do. Gotta build some features. Don't worry, we're gonna do plenty of videos on that, but that's not what I wanna talk about in this video. Instead, I wanna share one of the other responsibilities I took on as a part of this group, and that is medal design. I made some trophies for Colorado 3 last year, so it only felt natural for me to kind of step up and do some medal designs for our fun little tour that we're throwing together. And the first stop in the series, Colorado 4, is coming up soon. It's gonna be the weekend of June 23rd in Rampart Range in Colorado. So let's take a look at what it took to get some podium bling made up. Very early on, the group decided on a cryptid theme for the medals. Mostly because Devin Garland introduced us all to the Slide Rock Bolter, a Colorado-based giant catfish monster that hangs at the top of mountains waiting to swoop down and eat unsuspecting miners. That's miners that dig stuff out of the ground, not children. Although I mean, it's a giant fish, so who knows. So with monsters for our team and the Slide Rock Bolter as our choice for Colorado, we picked Bigfoot and other associated large apes for Pennsylvania, sewer gators for New York, the jackalope for Montana, and the thunderbird for Arizona. And being the design nerd that I am, I thought it would be cool for all of the medals to sort of fit together like puzzle pieces. So if you podium at every event and get the whole series, you get like this interlocking kind of set. It's a treatment I've seen for other event series before for medals, and I think it's so cool. So those were our requirements. That's our design brief, so to speak. And I started by doing some preliminary illustrations, some preliminary concept sketches. This helped me to wrap my head around the cryptids, the typography, and how the medals were gonna fit together. And this initial pass was super useful. And I decided I didn't like it at all. The illustrations were just a little too cartoonish for my taste, so I decided to change tack a little bit. In an effort to get a little bit more realism, I wanted to use reference photos. The only problem is, depending who you ask, these animals either don't exist or we at very least don't have very good photographs of them. So I got into Photoshop and pulled different parts of different animals and created some truly eldritch abominations for reference material. Our featured cryptid for Colorado is made from a combination of a catfish, a sturgeon, and some deep sea horror type thing. Hagfish maybe? I don't know, but it's ugly. With my reference material sorted, I then used some marker paper and micron pens to work up my line work and illustrations. I tried to keep the illustrations stylistically consistent by giving the silhouette lines of the cryptids some similar beefiness while keeping the internal details a little bit lighter. The group also decided pretty early on that we were going to make use of my A2Z laser cutter to make the medals, so I'm designing these with laser engraving in mind. I scanned my ink drawings, brought them into Illustrator, I cleaned up the inking, added some shading, figured out some text for the event locations and tour information, and then tried solving the fun puzzle of making these medals interlock and look good as a set, while still making each individual medal look good on its own. I'm working on a lot of organic shapes here with these monsters, so I had some flexibility with the individual medal shapes, which made this step a lot easier. I added a loop up top to hang the medals from, and with that we were ready for processing for cutting. In Lightburn, I scaled all my illustrations as a group, pulled the Colorado one out since that's going to be the first one I'm cutting, and ran 3 different layers. One heavy engraving pass for the line work, one lighter engraving pass for the shading, and one final burn to cut everything out. I did a test burn to make sure everything was looking good, and then I ran the whole set. I saw some comments in the last laser cutting video that the included goggles aren't the safest thing in the world. I don't have anything better accessible right now. I'd have to dig some stuff out of a storage unit. But in the meantime, we're gonna just make do with what we have and not look at the laser. And I think they came out great. The edges of the cut need a little cleanup because they're a little charred, but after that, we're ready for fit and finish. The first thing I want to do is treat the back of the metals. And for that, I just think some plain black acrylic paint to match the dark finish from the burning edges is a good look. I also tried out a light stain on an extra metal I cut, but honestly, I'm not digging the way that's working too much. I'm liking the plain, untreated birch a lot better than the stain. Honestly, I'm not sure I like that. So I think I'm just gonna leave the faces untreated and move on to finishing. A couple layers of acrylic should do the job. Wind's going completely the wrong direction, you know. Just standard, typical stuff. And yeah, I'm liking the way that looks. Now, these do need to hang around some talented riders' necks, and at the moment there's no distinction between first, second, and third place. So here we can kill two birds with one stone. We can use ribbon in the traditional first, second, and third place ribbon colors to dress these guys up for the occasion. The strips of ribbon need to be closed into loops, and I thought about sewing them, but then I remembered that I don't want to do that. So instead, I designed these little 3D printed clips. They lock together, and by adding a little CA glue, we can anchor both ends of the ribbon in the clip, snap the top in place, and when the glue is dry, hey, that's looking pretty dang snazzy. I'm super happy with my illustrations and how they transferred from ink to digital to wood burn, and I think the ribbons really add a lot, both in the splash of color to contrast with the wood, and the sheen of the material itself, giving it a little bit more of that shiny podium bling. Now, the only way you can get one of these bad boys is by going to one of the events and getting on the podium for the different disciplines at the different events. But if you dig the art and want to grab some for yourself, I'm doing a limited run of leather patches for each event with the cryptid art on them. You can grab these at the events themselves, or if you're interested, just let me know and I can throw some of them up in the shop as well. Just let me know if that's something you'd like to see. This one right here is actually that spare one that I tested the stain on because this batch of metals and patches has already been shipped out to Colorado. Colorado this year is happening at one of the truly legendary free ride mountain board spots here in the States, Rampart Range. It's coming up at the end of the month. It's the weekend of June 23rd in Sedalia, I'm not sure, Colorado. So be sure to check out wetheriders.org or the links down below to get more details on all the events and come out and ride with us. I am so stoked that we're having a tour here in the States again, and I am so excited to be a part of helping to organize it. Huge shout out to Jenna Morrison and Devin Garland, who are organizing the Colorado stop. Huge shout out to Jennifer doing Colorado the last 3 years and kind of kickstarting this whole thing. And as the tour progresses, I'll be putting updates here on the channel, so be sure to tune in for that. Keep your eyes out. We'll be keeping you posted. So get your butts out to Colorado. Grab yourself a slide rock bolter that you can wear around your neck and show off how good of a mountain boarder you are. But in the meantime, I got a lot of digging to do. I got like a lot of digging to do. There's a lot of trail to cut. So thank you as always, especially to my supporters on Patreon who are the pretty shiny ribbon wrapped around the charred eldritch horror that is this channel. If you like awesome DIY board sport stuff, if you want to see how the first American mountain board tour that we've had in more than 10 years progresses, just subscribe. We'll be talking about it here on the channel. I'll be doing trail building. We'll be showcasing the medals and prizes for a bunch of the other events as well. We'll do some edits, especially for the events that I can actually make it to. Like, it's gonna be a great time. If you wanna see how it goes, just, hit that button and check in with us every now and then. As always, I love having you along for the ride, so until next time, I'll see you soon. And then I ran the whole set. Okay, so I'm like trying to record the script, and the text group of the event organizers is going off right now because we're working out some details. Like, we're working really hard at this.